What's up, people? What's up, people? What's up, people? It is your boy MM2K back again with your other host of SSC Podcast, Project Storm. Storm, what is going on today, my good friend?
Man, I tell you what, a lot is going on, man. I got a whole lot going on. But one thing I need to do real quick is mute this volume, man, so I can make sure I hear everything you're saying.
Oh, okay.
A whole lot is going on. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, at a couple points during the show, I might have to disappear. So I got this refrigerator repair guy coming to take a look at the fridge. It's not cooling as much as I need it to. So I'll be taking care of that. But other than that, man, we got a whole lot of gaming to talk about as usual. I mean, it's just going down this week, y'all. I think with as far as game, just
yes,
like you would think that it's kind of like a under the radar week, right? But man, the more I look at the games that we're going to be talking about, all that stuff, man, it's going to be a good one. I can tell you. Let's go.
Absolutely.
I'm ready for it.
Storm, you know, I was just checking. I didn't even realize this. Shout out to the homie John Scar. I think he posted something similar to this, and I just caught a glance of it. But today is, I think, International Video Games Day. Ain't that
Yeah,
crazy,
I saw Stadia.
bro?
I saw Stadia actually put something out there, man, and I put a like on it, but I didn't get a chance to drop what game I've been playing and stuff. But I intend to do that later.
Word,
yeah,
definitely.
Man. Well, shout out to everybody. This is what we do. You know, I didn't even know.
Yep. Absolutely. That's what we're here for. And what we're going to talk about, it's interesting that we talk about that because, like you said, we're going to get into what we've been playing and all this other stuff. And it's also connected to something we're going to talk about later in the show, which is important mindshare coming to the platform because of a particular game. And the Stadia haters, they're confused. They're like, I'm hearing a lot about Stadia. What's this all about? And then I've seen a couple of videos and stuff out here, Storm. And here's the thing. You've seen some people within our community say, oh man, I'm waiting for the Stadia hate train or the Stadia mad machiners to come out here and come after that. We don't even care. We're too busy playing these damn games. So shout out to all my Stadians and everybody rocking it out on International Gaming Day. But with no further ado, we're going to switch it up a little bit. We know we normally pay the bills at the beginning, but we're going to do it at a later time. Let's get into what we've been playing, Storm. Storm, what have you been playing, my good friend, since the last episode?
Well, right here on the Stadia platform, man, I've been playing a lot of that Dirt 5, man. I've been playing a lot of that Dirt 5. I recently reached out to Codemasters like I said I would. That issue is still present, that 4K, hiccup issue that happens during races or whatever. So what did I do? I reached out to them, dropped a tweet on Twitter. I didn't get a response. So I went to the customer service or whatever, took that route, man, got an instant response in hours or whatever. So they said, y'all, anybody that played Dirt 5 or you bought it or whatever, and you played at 4K, you know what I'm talking about. But they said that they're already aware of the issue, that they're working on a fix right now. They're already testing it and all that. So hopefully in the near future, we'll see a fix for that one. And if we get a fix for that one, 95% of my content for the next month is going to be Dirt 5. I guarantee you. That's how much fun I've been having on that one, MM. Wow. Also, PUBG, man, I've been back and forth on PC and Stadia with that one, and I'm waiting for this new map. This new map drop, and it's amazing. The best map I've ever seen.
Oh wow!
It, by far, like beautiful is just perfect. The way it's laid out, man. It's another 8x8 map, which is large, like the original PUBG map, man. It's just so. I've been playing a lot of that, man. But I've also been jumping around, bringing 8K videos out there for the people that like the 8K stuff. For a few of you who might be thinking about getting an 8K display, you'll have something to watch. So that's why I'm doing that collection, that series, and everything, MM. One thing I discovered on that, if you don't mind me talking about.
Go, brother, get into it. Yes, sir.
Hey, y'all. We told y'all about that AV1 codec, man. You know, and I say this sounding, you know, me and MM, man, we're gonna sound like we're bragging and boasting. We'll let y'all know when we are, though. You know, we don't have any shame in our game. If it's worth bragging, we're gonna brag.
Facts.
But this right here is just to put out there, man, that the AV1 codec is gonna be helping streaming in a major way. If you're not familiar with it, I could definitely let me know in the chat, and I can get that. I can get a nice article that I could drop for y'all. Matter of fact, I'm gonna drop it anyway. A nice article you can go and catch up on what the AV1 codec is about and what it might do for cloud gaming. It's been tremendous for me, man. I'm talking about y'all. Like when I make my 8K videos, right? I go back and I watch them, and I can see that they're encoded with the AV1 codec. I dropped a tweet recently on Twitter regarding this, right?
Yep.
It plays the videos back as if they were 480p, 720p at 8K, y'all. If this technology, now we know it's coming to Stadia, and I know we've talked about it several times, but it's a game changer for me just making these videos and being able to stream them with no problem. I do have a gigabit internet connection up and down, y'all, but look, it's gonna make it better for everybody to stream these types of high resolution, high fidelity videos. So I've been doing a lot of that, man. The other games, Street Power Football, I dabbled into that for a little bit during the show, SML or whatever, man. It was a lot of fun. MM, a lot of these games we're going to be talking about today, I just sampled because there's so many games to play. I'm hearing like 180 plus games now on Stadia.
Yes.
I can't keep up, man. So I'm going to leave it right there for now.
Absolutely. I mean, again, for those that want to have that moniker that Stadia ain't got no games, I mean, if you compare it to a library that has, you know, ported over their games console generation after console generation, yeah, it might be dwarfed in that respect, in that regard. But if you look at how many games have come out for Stadia since launch and bump it up against its peers, now PlayStation 4 might have it beat, you know, by a few titles here and there, but it's definitely walloping what Xbox One was doing. So, and we know Xbox One right before the end of the 8th generation got up to like, what, 50 million? So, hey, we're okay with coming out with games at a faster pace than a platform that, you know, had 50 million consoles sold. You know what I mean? And Stadia is just churning it up even more. Hot Stadia Summer we've been talking about. There's going to be an article we're going to reference to, all that good stuff. So let me shut up because I don't know if my brother Storm was done giving you all the tasty goodness.
I'm absolutely done right now. I'm trying to find that link, man, because I have so many of them. Y'all know me. I'm like a mad scientist out here with several links on this AV1 and all this other technology that we talk about, man. But I'm going to find the one that I really need y'all to check out.
All right, absolutely. While you're doing that, good brother, and while I'm tweeting this out, definitely you tweet this out too on the other end of this mic. Let people know that we are live so we can engage in a discussion all together. You know how we do here. But let me tell you what I've been playing. You want to know the plethora of games that I've been playing?
Break it down.
Madden. Madden, and more. Look, there was a Twitter discussion storm that I got into, and it wasn't a bad discussion at all. It was just, you know, differences of opinion. And it's great for differences of opinion to converge and hash things out. But someone had made a comment on Twitter that one of Stadia's problems, catalog-wise, is that they don't have one of those go back to games. You know, games that you could just effortlessly play without having to do a lot of thinking, without having to go through an inventory, just fallback games, I think they called it. And I'm like, hold on. Well, as far as I see it, particularly sports games are fallback games, and they got the two biggest sports games on the platform, which are Madden and 2K in the States. And then if you throw FIFA in there, then that's a whole nother kit and caboodle. So those sports games are always fallback games as far as I'm concerned. But then you got games like PUBG, you got Destiny, and now you got Rainbow Six on there, which, you know, people might try to dibble and dabble. And well, let me say this real quick. Your average gamer picks up 2 games a year. They go buy 2 games a year. Your average gamer. An individual that we're going to spotlight in one of these articles, Storm, attests to that. World-renowned gaming analyst, part of the Nico partners, all right, group. If you don't know who they are, we're going to explain to you why it's important for you to know who these people are, all right? So the average gamer only buys about 2 games a year, right? They got 7 to 9 games in their catalog total per generation. So when these people normally buy the top tier games, the Call of Duties, the Apex Legends, the Overwatches, and I guess you can throw Rainbow Six Siege in there as well. That's still a very successful, highly successful game. So what they'll do is, those are their crutches. And I take fallback games as crutch games. Those are the crutches. Those are the games that they normally play to kill time or whatever. But they might dibble and dabble in the God of War, a Horizon Zero Dawn, maybe even a Gears of War, something like that. You know what I'm saying? They might dibble and dabble there, but when they want to get back in that comfort zone, those are the games that they go back to. So as far as I'm concerned, Stadia launched with one of those big fallback games, even though it may not be for everybody, which was Destiny 2. It added another one, Borderlands 3, slightly after release. And they've been coming with sports games and other games. Division 2 is another one. Division 2 has been so successful, Storm, they're creating an off-branch game based on Division 2. So my fallback game for Stadia, the one that makes Stadia relevant Stadia is always going to be relevant in my house, but makes Stadia relevant in my house regardless of what's around me and what launches, is Madden. I just finished my first franchise year. I'm horrible at signing contracts, so I lost all my good people. Storm, I went from a ranking of 88 to 72 because I don't know how to sign contracts. I got Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey. That's it, because I'm the Chiefs. I've lost everyone else because I didn't understand the contract signing, but I'm still having a hell of a time, man. So, yeah, even though I've been having to work with my wife and not really do the content and the playing games that I want to, I've been able to play Madden. And I'm going to shut up real quick and say this, Storm. Madden has been so instrumental for me, and it's so critical that Madden was on Stadia, and Stadia is just so profound in its uniqueness and its portability that my wife has to go in for rehab. And I talked about this. She got to go in, she did, for several hours Monday through Friday. And then she's finally made progress. We could finish the rehab at home. So we would sit several hours with the nurses and stuff, and her going through her rehab. And there would be some nurses there that would just be sitting there doing paperwork or whatever while the other nurses were working with my wife. And then they, as those nurses that were working with my wife would go to lunch, the nurses that were just sitting there would go and work with they would change shifts or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm having such a grand old time with Madden and Stadia that one of the nurses there, she said, "What are you playing?" I said, "Oh, I'm playing this thing called Stadia." And she was talking to me about her Switch, Storm. And she's like, "Oh," I said, "But hold on, this is all through the cloud, baby. You ain't got, hey, look, I know, I get that the Switch is portable, but I can play AAA games via the cloud." And she's like, "Oh, really?" And she was so interested. Don't you know that several days into me coming there, me and her are playing Madden together on Stadia while my wife was going through rehab. They be waiting for me to come with my laptop with my Stadia on it, bro. That's how crazy. And I know I got them to sign up. I gave them my code, so but that's how versatile and how broad reaching Stadia is when people know the truth. I got these Switch gamers, nurses that normally just play Puzzle Pop or whatever the hell's on the Switch. They were so interested. They're playing Madden with me, bro. So just thought I would share that story with y'all.
I'm sure it was kind of like they couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? I do want to tell the story myself. I can't let you outdo me. I'm not to be undone, outdone or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm not to be outdone. So
I feel you.
Y'all know I have these Samsung displays, man. Oh, my house is full of Samsung displays, man. Shout out to Samsung, old Milwaukee, and it's in the biz, man. Shout out to both. All right, here's the deal. Yeah. So I had a tech guy recently come out, man. He subscribed to the channel. He might be listening right now. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to you.
Tech guy came out, cool as hell. Came out, you know what I mean? Looked at the TV or whatever, because I was having some issues on my 4K display. I got an 8K and a 4K. The 4K one was giving me some issues with just syncing up, and doing what it's supposed to be doing as far as 4K 120 hertz gameplay on my PC and my Series X. So I'm showing him, I'm like, yeah, man, I got the Series X, I got this PC, but I also have Google Stadia, man. I don't know if you heard of that. He was like, yeah, I heard of it. I said, yeah, let me show you a little bit of gameplay. You know what I'm saying? So I booted up on the 8K TV, showed him the gameplay, man. He was like, yo, that's cool. You know what I mean? Like he was just like kind of blown away by the whole thing that he was seeing. I was like, this is all in the cloud, man. So it's funny that you had that story about the nurses or whatever. Then I had the story about my tech guy. But really, Verizon, everybody that comes out here and I show them Stadia gameplay or whatever, they can't believe because they always ask what I play. Like, what are you playing? Because they need to troubleshoot or whatever. I'm like, man, look, I play Xbox, I have my PC, I have Stadia. You ever heard of Stadia, Google Stadia? It was like, yeah, well, I heard kind of, some of them might have heard about it, some of them maybe not. And some of them might like, yeah, I heard of it and I never tried it. But when I showed them the gameplay, they're blown away, man. So it's crazy. And so we have so many of these stories that seem like they're popping up all over the place. And then people apologizing to Google about not trying Stadia earlier. And, just apologizing for trashing Stadia at first without trying it and all that stuff, man. It's just all this is going on simply because Stadia is being made more readily available. And I don't want to jump too far ahead because me and MM is going to break it down for y'all today, man. It's the reason why we do this thing on the ones and twos. So, MM, I'm going to let you go ahead and take back over, man. But we got a lot to talk about because a lot of things are transpiring out here.
Absolutely. And again, do us a huge favor. We got 29 people in here watching right now. We got 11 likes. Let's help spread the good news because we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. And again, we're going to bring up some stuff that may not be covered elsewhere. All right.
I tell you who is spreading the news. German G on Twitter.
G. Shout out to German G.
He put the and Predator out here with the retweet and all that stuff, man. See, we got these windows open to see. Now, we're not saying that y'all need to do it right now, but do it if you want to help people, help us bring more attention to Stadia, man, because more and more people are learning about it, courtesy of Google and their efforts to get it into everybody's household. Like I always tell, shout out to Stadia Revolution and everybody else in this chat, man. I've been saying it for months now. Google, while others are out here talking about how they can get their devices to play at 1080p 60. Now that's kind of like a shot at xCloud, but not really, man.
Kind of,
not really. But here's the deal: Google's out here preparing to take over the damn world. Now, I do want to start this. I want to set everything up by saying this, y'all. Stadia is out here preparing to take over the world slowly, so that before you know it, you're not gonna know what the hell hit you. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be like, damn, like Stadia's everywhere now, more territories. Like they had these, we should have known they had these cables in the ocean and everything. Project Storm and MM2K and others were bringing this to our attention. We should have known that they had all these edge nodes that covers the whole damn planet. Oh man. So that way the data centers can communicate with the edge nodes and vice versa, whatever to help you is all going to help us play Stadia in more locations. I mean, man, it's just so much going on right now that if you're not concerned about like if you're a hater and you haven't done your research, I feel sorry for you today. Yeah. I feel sorry for you today, man, because MM2K, I'm just going to try to keep this brother in check as best I can. But we have to bring special attention to the haters, man, because I swear they have one job to do, and sometimes they can't get that right.
They're confused.
All they need to do is remind people that Stadia is dead and it's going to fail. It has no games. That's all they need to do. We don't need them to do anything else like research and all that. We can handle that, But damn, man, it would be good if a hater could just say, yo, man, let me go over here, regardless of what Storm just said. I'm going to go check out something myself so I don't sound crazy out here, man. I don't want to sound dumb in a real conversation. You know what I'm saying? In the national spotlight.
They're running around, Storm, scrambling right now. They are scrambling right now because
it's funny, man.
They're hearing Stadia's name being brought up in a positive way. And they don't understand. But see, you knew and I knew. You know what I'm saying? That this was going to start happening. You know what I mean? Now, we're not going to say that overnight everybody's going to love Stadia. Right. People don't even know what it is. Well, at a large juncture yet, which is good for Stadia because if everybody was listening to the mainstream way of finding out information, they would all be turned sour on it. So it's a good thing that most people don't know what Stadia is. But we knew that this turnaround was going to happen. All it takes is one game, and Rainbow Six could possibly be that one game. We're going to get into all that though. But with that being said, brother, let's talk. Matter of fact, let's talk about it, man. The future of cloud gaming, Storm. It was brought into question, and we kind of talked about this last week. It was brought into question because xCloud didn't release in the state that people thought it was going to release. They thought that it being ported to the Xbox Series X server blades automatically meant that they were going to get Xbox Series X performance. Yeah. But had they done their homework, like how you said, you just said it. If they would have done their homework and just listened to us, they would have heard, they would have seen that even though Stadia was 10 or 10.7 teraflops, that when it released, you didn't necessarily get 10.7 teraflops in your hand. There's things like the codecs, balancing the bandwidth, a whole bunch of other factors in play that Stadia is ahead of. We tried to tell people they're ahead, and now you can see how ahead they are. So because of that, people are upset. Now they want to spread gloom and doom about cloud gaming in general. Well, out comes this article, Storm, that fights back that narrative. And I just want to share everybody this article real quick. You know how we do.
Break it down.
Let me show you something. It says, this is an article by UK Barclays Esports, as they're called on Twitter. And the article is labeled, "What's Next for Game Streaming?" And they talk, and it starts off this way: cloud technology has already revolutionized other forms of entertainment, but it's still in its early stages. When it comes to video games, we ask developers about the final barriers and how they may be overcome. The future of gaming probably won't look like a box sitting under your TV, no matter how sci-fi your PlayStation 5 looks. Instead, chances are you'll be playing games which are being streamed from many miles away. They talk about Netflix and streaming, all of that. I don't want to get that far yet. But Storm, I know you read this article. We talked about it behind the scenes, man. What are your thoughts on this article altogether?
Oh, it was a hell of a read, man. And I'll tell y'all right now, for the people that think that this is just a Stadia, we're pro Stadia no matter what you say, what your mama say. You know what I'm saying? Like this right here, this is what we do, man. And the part of what we do is bringing the facts out there as much as possible. You know, we might combat some inaccuracies and all that from time to time when people are just blatantly wrong. You know, we might have to try to correct some of that. But at the same time, we're here to let people know that we're not here to carry the torch for Stadia, to try our best to do that, to keep Stadia breathing and all that. That's their job, right? They're going to do that. They're going to do that. That's Google we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? They got the resources and the means and the people to do it. So here's the thing. This article was so good, man. And it wasn't even all positive at all the time either. Yeah, exactly. It was like, I respected the fact that there was some facts up in there. Like, they had a developer, one of the developers that created, was it Lost Words?
Lost Words. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, so the dev was sharing his thoughts and on the porting process and all that, and development process in the cloud on a platform like Stadia and all that. And it was something I didn't even know about, like the upload process that needs to happen. So there's some things in there that I read and I was like, wow, it was eye opening. But what I caught the most, that was most impressive was that the person that wrote this article, man, really, really seemed to truly know that based on whatever research and based on whatever facts they had, cloud gaming is going to be here in a few years or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Like it's almost inevitable. And they know that Stadia has great potential, and it's not just about not just about Stadia. The article was about others in the cloud as well, man. But it was just an overall good read. I don't want to ruin anything for people who like to just read this stuff as we put it out there for y'all. It was kind of in depth, but not too long that it makes you want to just stop, take a coffee break or whatever. It was a hellified read that lets you know some things that you probably never thought about with the cloud.
Yep.
And it's just something that made me feel real good. I couldn't wait to talk about it, man. And you know, it is what it is. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself and spoil the fun, man. But that's my initial thoughts on the overall article, man. I thought it was very, very well done.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree. The it does it to me. It does a good job in trying to educate you from a high level. Either if this is your first encounter with cloud gaming, or if you've been misinformed, which a lot of people
Right.
that we got to talk to that want to debate us, they've been misinformed. There are just some things that they've heard from mainstream gaming media who have an agenda. Their agenda is we like the swag, we like the boxes, we like the cartridges or the discs. We don't like the advent of cloud gaming because you don't own the game. And what if Google decides to go to the moon with
Oh man.
Jeff Bezos or whatever? All this silly stuff that you hear, right? So with all that being said, this article it makes you feel like they were looking from afar, whoever wrote this, and said, nah. We got to bring in the game developers. The hell with the YouTubers. The hell with MM2K and Project Storm, even though we speaking the truth. The hell with that. We're going to go to the source. We're going to bring in the game developers, the game publisher, and we're bringing in the analysts. 3 people we always quote here on this show, along with the platform provider. Just to give you some thoughts of what Project Storm was talking to, there is the developer of Lost Worlds. If I could, Dan Cawley. Lost Words. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Lost Words and Tohu for Google Stadia. And he says from his perspective as both a developer and a gaming, its streaming works well. Now, this is where I kind of have a difference of opinion, but it's cool that it's in here for us to have this discussion. He says, but internet speeds can still present problems, which, yes, is true. He said, for developers making games for Stadia and cloud-based platforms, this adds an extra barrier to testing it, but one which is becoming more efficient the more games are being developed for. So I agree with
the key. Now, that's the key.
Yep.
You heard what he said. It's becoming more efficient. It's got to get better. You know what I mean? It is new. But there's more pros than cons, and man, from what I understood right there.
Now, what are your thoughts on it? Because one of these things that he said, Storm, I want to pick your brain on this. One of the things that he said, Storm, is that there's this barrier of, well, there's 2 things. So let me break it up into 2 parts so it's easy for you to answer the question. The first part is the barrier of the internet, which is something unique to deal with. You just said it, but can you elaborate on it? It's getting better. What does getting better mean to you?
Well, what's getting better is all the tools. Just like Stadia said, man, they really came out here and said that they were working with the developers. In fact, they have that developer summit that's coming up, y'all, on Monday, the 12th, I think.
I believe so.
So stay tuned for that. Let's check that out. Let's see what they're talking about. Let's see what Google has going on. I know Stadia is going to have like a 15-minute slice of that whole presentation or whatever, where they're going to be talking to developers about possibly future tech tools and everything that developers could use. So it's something to keep an eye on. I know I'm going to be paying attention, man. So it makes you think about how Stadia is improving. I just saw something else that Jack Buser had said, and I forgot where I read it at. But he was talking about, when I said the number 180 plus games, it was in another article I read, man. Just can't remember which one. But Jack Buser was even saying how this technology would get better because it was getting kind of like, it was it got a bad rap at launch for some people who were testing it out. Like, we got to go back to the Washington Post or whatever. We know how how we felt about the whole Washington Post thing and all that. We make it known. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people were testing Stadia in less than ideal conditions.
Exactly.
Going out there writing pieces on it and all that stuff. And I'm like, what? Wait a minute. You can't even test with Ethernet. What about at your home? Not just a job. We know that work internet sometimes can be trash. Like, I work in education, but I'll tell y'all this. Just because we have fiber optic internet don't mean that it's going to be, I can watch 4K videos in my office. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's crazy. There's a lot of different things that goes on here, man. But what I'm seeing from this right here is that Stadia is evolving, is getting better. People that have gotten their hands on the Chromecast and Google TVs, if you are the user, you probably feel that Stadia is getting better, when you're playing these games. So stuff like that is what I think the same developer that just said something about the upload speeds that we were referring to, and the internet infrastructure and all that, which is a very real thing, it's very real. But it's also real if you want to play these same games on your console, man. Like, we have to talk about this. If you want to play those same games on your hardware, your PC, whatever, your Switch, your new OLED Switch that I'll be talking about a little bit later on as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's so you got to think about that. You're gonna need solid, stable internet no matter where you're playing. So we can't beat the cloud over the head with that just because it's all streaming. At
Yep.
least in my opinion. I mean, you do
Yep.
what you want to do, but we have to, if you're gonna bring something powerful and factual to the conversation, y'all, we gotta think about all sides of the equation, man.
Yep.
And Stadia's out here making big moves. Like I said, they rolled cables in the ocean. Maybe others are doing it well. Amazon might be doing it. Microsoft might be doing it. But see, I'm reading about it, and it seems like a lot is coming from Stadia. Stadia being the pioneers of certain things, like being able to hit 4K 60 in the first place first, coming out of nowhere, hitting the ground running. And that's what was saying, kind of hinting at earlier when he was talking about xCloud just not being there with the server with the Series X hardware. You got to talk about that because it's still hot. It's a hot conversation on social media right now. So that's
Yep.
why we're bringing this up yet again, because it's hot right now. It's a hot conversation. Every minute I'm seeing something. If you know where to look, you're gonna find something on xCloud and the performance and the perks and the pros and all that stuff as well. Um so all of this stuff right here is what I think this developer means, man. And it's to have developers giving real takes and not just sounding like they're getting bought by Stadia.
Yep.
That makes me sleep better at night, man, because I'm
Yep.
like, oh man, here's a person that gave a real true spill about Stadia and its performance and what's necessary to port these games and what Google and Stadia is trying to do to make that better for publishers and developers that they're trying to get on board or keep on board with Stadia once they are on board. So man, it's a lot to wrap your head around, man.
Yeah. The other, I agree that at first you're gonna run into hiccups. Like even right now, I'm on Twitter with people still upset that PlayStation 5's expansion bay ain't active, right? You like, and when these consoles, the last few consoles launches, we've had situations where the award system wasn't ready, or the trophy system wasn't ready, or this ain't ready and that ain't ready. So if you're talking about well established platforms, and listen, and let me not even get into the fact, and this was in the height of my Xbotism. I was defending this. I was full kippity cap for this. That the Xbox 360, Microsoft launched the Xbox 360 knowing that its yield had a 60% failure rate, and they still put it out there. And they said, we just gonna put $1 billion to the side to fix it, but we're launching early no matter what.
Oh man.
So we have situations like that, Storm, every generation with hardware that you got to pay $500 for up front. So when Stadia says something to you like, yeah, we can get up to 4K 60, or these are the features that we're going to have available, and they're not available out of the box, or when a developer like Mr. Collier says, look, there's a barrier that we're dealing with that's new, but it's getting better over time, and he's going to get into why, despite that one barrier, we're going to get into that in a little bit, but despite that one barrier, the positives outweigh the negatives, right? Or, our thought process is, if we're willing to deal with all of the grimy stuff that happens with consoles, that is even happening this generation, the world's most powerful console, Storm, but you gotta wait for the tools.
You gotta wait a year for that banger. You gotta wait a year for that banger. Now we gotta, y'all, we gotta keep it real because we're putting things in context right here. But go ahead, man, because I do want to talk about that. Don't let me forget to talk about that OLED Switch, man. Please.
Oh man, hey, Junior Thanos says don't do it. He said don't do it. The chat will burn down.
We gotta do it. We have to keep it real. We got to keep it thugging. I mean, everybody want to talk about what's happening with Stadia 4K 60. Mm-hmm. Some people ain't even getting 4K out here, man.
Yeah, exactly. But my thing is that, if we have all this jankiness happening with this hardware, again, with Storm said, you got to pay $340 for a new OLED screen, a bigger OLED screen. We got all this jankiness happening with with these dedicated devices. Why is it that when Stadia's rollout of things doesn't happen the way that we thought it was going to roll out, that it's the end of the world? So it's always, and then this is a new platform that's here altogether. This is their first time at bat with this. So I think if you look at, again, established products releasing at 60% failure rates, the stuff that you saw on other platforms, the stuff that you're seeing now, PlayStation 5, the expansion bay isn't there, Xbox launched with no real big banger exclusive to make the box shine, and then they can't clearly beat PlayStation 5 and performance tests because you got to wait for the tools. You got all this stuff happening with way more expensive entries into gaming, but yet when it happens with Stadia that's offering you games up to 4K 60, where at the most it was $130 at the time, and you could play it on your TV, you could play it on your laptop, you could play it on your phone and still get that same great fidelity. You got crowd choice, state share, all the likes and all this stuff, and you ain't got to worry about downloads and patches.
Oh man,
it's not an even playing field when it comes to that situation. So I think that part of these comments were great. Now here's the second part that I'm a little bit indifferent about, and I want to get your thoughts on this. He says, I think this is it right here. The process of developing a game for Stadia wasn't too different. Let me see. Let me bring it up on the screen here.
This is key. This is big. Please do it justice now.
The process of developing the game for Stadia wasn't too different, but the tricky part was uploading builds and testing, Collier explains. Much of the development could be done locally as normal, but when testing areas such as saves, achievements, or anything Stadia specific, a build of the game had to be uploaded to the Stadia portal to test. Depending on the size of the game, this can take some time, and then even longer if something needs changing to retest. Now now I read that part first to get back to what Collier was saying later in the article, if I can find it. Hold on. Okay, and he says, as Collier explains, uploading builds take time. Okay, you're building a game, you're uploading it. I have no familiarity with this. He says, but when faster internet connections become the norm, though, cloud gaming will be able to work. At the moment, playing games work well, he says, but as soon as someone in the house starts streaming a film, it's hard to continue to play. Storm. No. Let me finish this. Let me finish what he says here to give it proper context. I certainly couldn't upload a build and play a game on Stadia at the same time once we all have faster broadband. I think this will be much less of a problem. Now, here's my contention towards this. If you're uploading a game, which I have no understanding of what the rigors are of that, I'm not going to doubt you there. But from my experience, when I got Stadia in my house day one, I had crappy 50 up, 50 down Comcast internet that had data caps on it. I was playing Destiny while my wife was watching a 4K Hulu video, and while my son was on YouTube. I had no hiccups. So, Storm, what are your thoughts on what he says there? I mean, do you understand the build part, but not the playing the game part? Or what are your thoughts altogether? Go ahead.
I could see both. He painted a clear picture, right? I mean, and so this is what people are talking about. Some people that thought they knew what was going on with the process of porting games and making games. All right. Now, this is one developer. I thought I read in there somewhere, if you have a larger team or like more capable developers, so to speak, would be able to, they don't have to worry about those kind of hiccups. But this could be like for an indie dev or somebody like that that just starting out on the platform or whatever is what I took from it. Right now, I can tell you, I have a gigabit up and down FiOS. You know what I'm saying? Internet, y'all, up and down, 1,000 megabits per second. I can tell y'all right now, if I stream, let me see. My wife was watching 4K, so I see what he's saying, because what he's saying is you might get some kind of hiccup or whatever, degradation of some. You might get some kind of degradation in performance at times if you put Stadia under extreme circumstances. Now, that I could see. I could see him saying that. As far as like uploading the game or whatever. Now, you don't know how many gigs these games are.
Exactly.
Some
Yeah.
games are bigger than other ones. So a game like Call of Duty or something might take a long time, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Just to think about this now, just to think about it. But at the same time, there's more in this article, and I want to try to skim through it right now. For some reason, it won't let me open it. But I want to skim back through it again and find the part that I'm talking about. But I can understand where he's coming from. Now, it might not be ideal for everybody that's trying to stream in 4K, but I could be streaming and playing Stadia, which is streaming. And my son could be streaming on this PlayStation, and my wife could be streaming Netflix or whatever at 4K.
Yep.
And we are good. We're good at most most cases. Amen. So it depends. See, the thing about cloud gaming that we have to focus on, we have to talk about, is that it may not be for everybody. It might not be. But again, I reminded people at the moment, but I remind people, because this is where I'm torn, right?
Yep.
I have had lag, and so have you, and so has this chat playing multiplayer games on consoles. I have had laggy experiences playing multiplayer games on PC. Like, so if we're talking about the internet infrastructure not being ready to take on something like cloud gaming, we have to first look at the fact that in some cases it wasn't ready for console and PC gaming. Now over time that might have gotten better, but I'm sure there's still people out there we can look right now and find articles or whatever, or complaints and stuff like that about laggy experiences in these console and PC type games, man. Like, that's just a fact. So my thing is, if you could stream a YouTube video at 4K, you could probably definitely play Stadia at 4K if you could do that with no buffering or whatever the case is, man. It gets too complex, but I think that's what this developer is saying. I didn't see that as something that was like a straight attack or something like that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I didn't see it that way. It's just something to put into perspective for other developers that's trying to come to the platform, or for those gamers out here that's like, yo, I want to do this in 4K, do that in 4K, and it's just something to be mindful of.
You be mindful of, and he does state it's getting better now. I think the part that you were talking about, I thought that the way that was worded may have not truly translated into what Dan was referring to. Maybe so, but what I wanted to do is add a alternative clarification to that even when I got Google Stadia, and trust me, I wasn't expecting it to be a marvel. I had saw all the manufactured, but I didn't know it was manufactured at the time, Storm. I saw all the manufactured horror stories. The same guy at Washington Post who was hitting a space bar and the man was jumping 20 minutes later, right? Not realizing that he was on a work space VPN, which boggles me, but anyway. And I saw the other horror stories. So when I got Google Stadia, I just thought it would be something that I would hook up, play it, throw in the closet, right? Because of everything that I saw. And when I started playing Destiny 2, and then I went to my browser and started playing Destiny 2, and then again, the reason why I got to my browser, what made me go to my browser up in the man cave, was my wife kicked me out of the bedroom. She said, "Get the hell out of here. I'm about to watch my Kardashians." So I said, "Okay." Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so then my son was in his room watching it. I remember walking by him because I got to walk by the bedroom in order to get up to the man cave. And I saw my son in there watching his videos. And I go upstairs and I'm like, "Oh man, she's watching 4K. He's on YouTube." I said, "You know what? F it. F it. We're going live. F it." You know what I'm saying? Homage to Bill O'Reilly. F it.
What you got to do.
We're doing it live. I said, "You know what? Let's stress test this. My wife is on 4K. My son is watching YouTube. I'm going to stress test this and go live with it." And I did it on Twitch. And now, granted, Twitch only held my video for so long, so I brought that video to YouTube. So go here and look at Destiny 2 Stadia Dosage, and you'll find that video, and you'll hear me talking like, "Ooh, my wife is watching 4K, my son is playing YouTube, and it's performing well, 60 frames per second." And at the time, it was 720p. I was playing 1080p, but Twitch only captured it at 720p. So that's why it kind of looks degraded. But that's not because of Stadia. That was because of Twitch. Anyway, I didn't have any problem. So to what Storm is saying. Storm is right in the middle, and I think he's right in the sweet spot about this. It all depends. I think more likely than not, as long as your network is okay and you got decent internet, you're going to be all right. Even if you got somewhat crappy internet, you can have multiple things happening at one time. It's not highly recommended, but it can work. And especially out of all the streaming platforms, it definitely does work and give you the best output.
And he's saying, and he's saying something that I think is factual, man. We know, you keep reminding people that this is a 2 to 4% business or whatever now, right? Gaming and all that. So
yes, sir.
We know now, if we have been paying attention to anything and we had gotten from under that rock for one day, we would have probably realized, MM2K, that cloud gaming is not going to take over the damn world right now. It's just not going to do that, right? No matter how we think it can, and technology is being excellent and all that stuff, right? It's just not ready yet. So, but in a few years, we're talking years down the road when 5G is more readily available and they're figuring out ways how to implement AV1 and stuff like that. That's what I'm seeing here. That's what I'm hearing this guy say. You know, so that right there is something to think about. When you jump in the cloud, it's something for you to test. You might love it. It might be the most amazing way to play games, like it is for me, MM2K, chat, and others who know what I'm talking about, who love Stadia, who loves xCloud, or whatever the case is, right?
Yep.
Like, you know that this is the beginning stages. You know that we have to test this thing for these companies to gather data, as MM has said several times in the past. They have to be able to do this stuff. So if you come out here expecting that cloud gaming is going to take over the world and dominate consoles right now, you're going to be disappointed, man. Flat out. There's no better way to put it. But if you look at what cloud gaming has right now, and that's a way for you to do something that's magical, that shouldn't even be possible right now, like streaming video games. We're talking about massive video games over the cloud.
Yes.
Think about that for a minute. If that don't inspire you, and if that doesn't send chills down your spine, then maybe cloud gaming is just going to be a leisurely activity that you dabble into once in a while. And that's fine too, because there's a place for you guys. So that's bringing us so many of these games, man. I'm hardcore. I'm all in the cloud, saying it loud, man. I'm ready. So I'm ready to go out.
Storm, you hit the nail right on the head, brother, as always. Like, there's those of us that maybe when music streaming first came out, we were not welcoming to it, and then we saw the convenience in it. And we said, okay, maybe this isn't so bad. But there's still that small subsect, or the smaller subsect of music listeners like, no, I want my Walkman, or I want even I want my iPad or my iPod. You know what I'm saying? I want that. And there's something out there for them. Like, you can still power up your iPod and do whatever get your digital, whatever. But for those of us that want to stream, that's a growing population. It hasn't killed the other ways. Even if you want a CD, I can walk into Walmart right now and buy any CD that just released, any one that I want right now. This is almost a decade after MP3s and music streaming are starting to take over. I can still get a CD, right? So, like Storm said, there's a special place for everybody. There's no need. It's a 2% business right now, but it is growing. Storm, I want to grab this. I think the parts that you were talking about, where it was like he really nailed it about the positives over the cons, the pros over the cons. Right. He said, now this is what he says, Storm. I actually enjoyed running everything from the cloud.
There you go.
Apart from uploading it, it simplified the process. So updates to the portal were automatic and everything runs in the browser. Collier cites another bonus.
I got excited just listening to you read it, man. Just think about it.
I know it sends chills down your spine.
If you want to, you can start over if you want to, because this right here is saying a lot about the future of cloud gaming to me. It speaks to me, man.
Yep. You know what? As a matter of fact, I think that's a great idea. Let's go over it again for the people in the back. It says, I actually enjoyed running everything. No, let me go back even further, because I missed something, Storm. I'm glad I did go back.
And see, this is what I'm here for.
Absolutely. Now, see, this is why I got to be on the couch before I start reading this stuff, right? So I don't miss none of the good stuff. He says, though the issue was later minimized. The issue that we was talking about the time that it took to upload it. He says it got better and it was later minimized by working with dev kits, right? Collier adds that it was actually one of his favorite parts of process of developing Lost Words for Stadia. Again, quote, I actually enjoyed running everything from the cloud. Apart from uploading it, it simplified the process. So updates to the portal were automatic and everything runs in the web browser. Collier cites another bonus of cloud gaming that should be of interest to publishers and gamers alike: sustainability. Quote, I also like the potential for a reduced environmental impact thanks to having no consoles or packaged games. He says.
Listen, look, if you don't give me 3 minutes to 5 minutes,
I'm shutting up. I'm shutting up.
After you done, let me get.
I'm done. I'm shutting up. I have nothing else to say after that. You go ahead, bro.
People might say, "Oh, he's reaching, man." Consoles don't have. Yeah, they don't have any impact on the environment and stuff like that. What is this, the green show and all that? Some people think that, right? They don't understand, but then you look at what's going out here in the world right now, and then you see that climate change is real, MM2K, and then you see, the heat domes over here on the West Coast. Ask Ray Sherrod. I see Ray was in the chat too, and he retweeted the show, by the way. I forgot to say that earlier.
Shout out to Ray.
Ask them cats and ask John Scar out in Canada when I heard about 710,000 lightning strikes in the same area and all this stuff. Craziness is happening, right? But when they mention something like, consoles, the data centers and stuff like that, they need people really want to know, man. When you build this data center here, what are you doing to take care of the environment? And Google's like, well, we're going to use this, I got ways to cool this thing down and make it more efficient. They have to answer these questions, right? So it's very serious. So consoles, each console in your house, that's a piece of plastic that MM2K refers to, but there's some other components up in there that he's talking about, and it's very real. So all these consoles, they have to be disposed of. When we trade them in at GameStop, nobody buys them. They go and they get destroyed, and they have to be recycled or whatever the deal is. That's the environmental impact I think they're talking about here, man. But then you're talking about just the heat that's generated and whatever else that's generated from these displays and these consoles. Man, it makes me think about all that. But if you reduce that to the data centers alone, and I want y'all to stay with me now, because I could be wrong. So help me be right. I don't want to be wrong. So MM, you get rid of millions of consoles. I know this is not going to sound good to the console lovers like us, man. We all have consoles, the majority of us. MM has the PS5. I have the Series X. G Millie has the PS5 and the Series X. Just got a gaming PC. We all have, man. So if you think about that, right? You eliminate that right there, and then you worry about the data centers being the place that we all stream these games from. Yes, you don't have to worry about shipping, less cardboard, whatever the case is, man. I mean, you got to think about the whole chain, the whole cycle. When it comes to a person that thinks green, this is how they think, right? So you might not think that way, but we have to take it into consideration, and that's big. That's what I'm talking about. When you start talking like that, green, Samsung, for example, with their new TV boxes and stuff, man, they figured out a way to make them environmentally safer or whatever. We'll just say it's just stuff like that that's going down, man. So yeah, I just want to throw that out there for the people that's like, oh man, consoles don't. Yeah, think about the millions and billions of consoles and all that hardware that's on the planet right now.
But see,
gaming gets rid of all that. It gets rid of the shipping process. It gets rid of a lot of different things that developers that are costly to these publishers and devs. Now we could choose whether we want to pay to sign up for those subscription services and all that. That's going to be on us as consumers, right? I'm already embedded in the whole ecosystem. I like subscriptions. They're going to give me more games than I would have necessarily not been able to play. And then I can cancel at any time. So man, it's just a lot to think about, MM2K. Go ahead though.
No. Now G Million got to cut up in the chat. I don't know if you want to respond to this.
G Million, no, I had to call the Department of Chat Police. He got G Million for what he said about the Switch. Now I wasn't trying to go in that direction and go as far as to say the Switch is trash, but G Million, he's not afraid of nobody.
He ain't afraid of nobody, man.
He'll say that. So I stand behind G Million, man, and let him do all the talking.
This crazy He said now he says to you, Storm. Now we on our green kick. We talking about saving the seagulls and making sure that the baby back whales they gonna be all right. Here's what G Million got to say. He says, "Bro, 2 gaming PCs laugh out loud and to say we ain't eco friendly."
I'm not saying I'm the eco-friendly. I never said that. Was Mr. Green. I do support the moves of taking care of the planet. I definitely take that seriously. But of course, we know I have multiple TVs and speakers and subwoofers and all this stuff in my room right now, and air conditioners and stuff and all that. Right? That's probably not the most environmental friendly. You know what I'm saying? But it's something to think about, man. G Miller, but yeah, man. Going back to the Switch real quick before I forget, because I almost
go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
He said something about that Switch, man. G Millie called it trash, man. I try to refrain from that word unless somebody uses it about Stadia or myself or my brother.
Storm, go ahead and do that. I'm gonna just run. It's just literally gonna take 1 minute.
So we got to talk about the Switch, man. Earlier, we were talking about ways, like 4K came up and all that stuff, and see. I praise Stadia because they're able to hit 4K 60. Some people are going to act like that's not a big deal. It's not real 4K. Ultra textures and all that stuff is not available. So 4K really don't matter. You're going to hear all this, y'all, if you haven't heard it already. But what I'm saying here is that, resolution makes a difference. Stadia is hitting 4K 60. Next thing for them is probably going to be 4K 120. You know what I mean? And then they'll move on to 8K 120 or something like that in the future. But then we got some people were saying resolution don't matter. Well, I think the Switch just showed us that resolution matters for a lot of people. I kept telling people, millions of people do care about this stuff. They care about 4K up to 4K 60 or native 4K 60 and DLSS and all that. They care about ray tracing. You got a lot of people that care about this stuff, man. For the ones that don't, that's cool. I don't have a problem with you. It is what it is. It's a preference type thing. But like I said you just not add, and I was talking to Snow Bunny Gaming, man, behind the scenes. Shout out to Snow Bunny. Y'all know who it is. PNTS Network. That's our sister right there. She's on YMY, the Ying Meets Yang of Gaming podcast with me, Ron Rush. Yo, we had a real conversation. She's the biggest Nintendo advocate I know. That I know personally. Well, I don't know her in real life, but I feel like I do. And I never met her. But here's the deal. She breaks things down in a way like she's the idea. Damn it, I can't even say it. The idea, y'all. The idea. She's the ideal person, right? When it comes to this whole Nintendo thing to talk to. But even she was disappointed and let down by the fact that Nintendo wasn't coming out with the 4K, y'all. And here's Stadia, where you could take a mobile device like a NVIDIA Shield Pro, cell phone, whatever. This is my point right here. And if your device is capable of 4K and you think that pixel density is cool on your small screen and all that stuff, you can, you don't have a problem with all that playing on a smaller screen, then Stadia is going to probably be for you. Just to know that I could get that on a tablet or whatever, or a laptop or my whatever device, 4K, y'all. It's kind of like the standard right now, as far as as high as you can go as far as resolution goes, y'all. You get what I'm saying, man. I'm just trying not to piss nobody off today. So it's crazy that Stadia can offer this in the cloud, y'all, streaming. But Nintendo fans, some of them, they really want that 4K Switch, man. They would have sacrificed OLED. Some of them, I guarantee, would have felt, I don't care about the OLED screen. Just give me up to 4K on my TV docked. Put the 4K in the dock. Let me do the 4K thing so we can finally tell all these Xbox and PlayStation gamers and all them, Nintendo is here. Nintendo is here. I got a 4K TV. I told y'all about the people that's buying 4K TVs. It is here now. It's the norm, y'all. They already have 8K TVs that's in stores right now. I have one.
Yeah.
So 4K is real. So some people were like, 4K doesn't make a difference. It doesn't even, it's Storm. You're going too far with it, Storm. Storm. People don't care about that stuff. Only you do. I said, what? All right. But don't say I didn't tell you when it comes out. And this is one example of it coming out. MM2K in chat. Yeah. Nintendo fans, some of them were pissed off. Others are cool. They're going to sell a lot of Switches now.
Yeah, they're
Don't
going to
get me
sell.
wrong. They're going to sell a lot of the OLED, and the gameplay is going to be beautiful on that OLED screen because we know what OLED screens can bring. But that still does not negate the fact that more people want it 4K, man. That's all.
Yeah. I think it's really somewhat of a slight backpedal. It's not going. They're still going to sell gangbusters, but I think it kind of opened the eyes of a lot of Switch fans to the practices that Nintendo has, and they're like, hold on, so now you want to sell us an OLED, a platform with an OLED screen, no internal gut enhancements whatsoever, and you know, I mean, and I get that there's an Ethernet port on the dock station. That's cool for some, Storm, but it's caused a lot of controversy, man. It's a pure issue right now, and it's even to the point to where Nintendo, I saw on the Nintendo Life, where Nintendo said, hey, if you don't like the idea of the Switch OLED, then don't get it or something like that. I was like, whoa. So we'll see. But hey, that's go ahead.
Man, Bunny said something else, man. She made me think about something, right? She said, you got to understand, we're talking about Nintendo.
Exactly.
Like, the next gen system will just be bringing 4K. Pretty much what she meant by that is when Xbox, PlayStation, Stadia, and all them get ready to go 8K, Nintendo will be 4K.
Exactly.
Man. I was like, damn, you're right. And it is what it is, man. To the fans, to the consumers, is hey, if that stuff is cool with you, it's cool with me.
Yep. Now, Storm, the last part before we move on from this article that I want to talk about, and here, let me put it on the screen here. Comes from a guy by the name of Daniel Ahmad. And for those that don't know who Daniel Ahmad is, he is a senior analyst at Nico Partners, specializing in video games market in China and Asia. Naturally, he's very familiar with the rise of cloud-based gaming and sees the high potential for growth within the industry. If you don't know who Daniel Ahmad is, he goes by the name Z Huge on Twitter. When I started creating content, he's one of the first people that I was introduced to. And when I say introduced to, not like personally me speaking to him, but like looking at his data, because I was trying to take my data analysis background and utilize what I just came across as far as gaming was concerned. They say, oh, there's someone else already doing this. You know what I mean? So he's very knowledgeable about the video game industry and certain trends in the video game industry. Z Huge, aka Daniel Ahmad, had this to say about cloud gaming as it relates to what we see Stadia and other of its peers doing. We are primarily seeing initial demand revolve around console and PC games that can be streamed to mobile devices. In the future, the analyst says, he expects this to expand not just the variety of games we play, but the audience of gamers themselves. We see an opportunity for cloud gaming to expand the gaming audience, both through traditional gaming experiences and entirely new gaming experiences. Not only will cloud gaming allow current players to extend their gaming time to other devices, but it will also allow both new and existing gamers to discover games that were previously unavailable to them. Cloud native games can offer an entirely new experience that has not been possible with traditional hardware limited games. More immersive worlds, multiple simultaneous online connections, and advanced AI that can change the players and engage with games, the way they engage with games. Now, Storm, I'm already going to cut this off at the pass because I know what people listen to this thinking. But Stadia closed SG&E, so they ain't going to have no cloud native games. Storm, we've already seen, I can't remember, the one developer that was out there that was talking about creating this big cloud, this big game that he feels like it can only be done in the cloud. So he was going to go and talk to multiple cloud developers, which that could. So you could see cloud native multi-plat games that you can't find on hardware. You could find second party games that Stadia just simply goes to EA and says, hey, EA, y'all working on the cloud game? You know, or can y'all make us a cloud game? Cool. Thank you very much. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a bunch of possibilities here as far as how Stadia can get it. But so now that we've gotten that out of the way, that Stadia is not going to have cloud native games because they're not making them themselves. The 360 thrived off of second party development that whole damn generation except for Halo. So we got to stop that. Everything doesn't rely upon first party. Sony's doing a hell of a job with its first party, but that's not the tell all be all as far as exclusive content or things being created for your platform. With that being said, Storm, what do you think about what Daniel Lamont had to say about the future of cloud gaming, particularly with this cloud native possible, or the possibilities with cloud gaming experiences?
I still think people have to understand a couple things, man. Like Stadia, with cloud gaming, there still could be cloud native experiences, man. They don't have to be Stadia first party SG&E cloud based experiences. You know, they said that they are going to be giving the developers access to the tools that can make this cloud native stuff happen. Cloud native games will just look different than console and hardware based games. That's all.
Yep.
That's all because of the capabilities of the cloud. You know, now one thing I wish never happened. I wish Crackdown 3, the hype. I wish that never happened, man. Because man, you talk about when they showed the demonstrations of the buildings collapsing and all that stuff, and I know we keep going back to Xbox. I promise y'all, I don't hate Xbox. Neither does MM2K. We both have been on the Xbox. I'm still on Xbox, y'all. But we have to talk about this stuff like we talk about Stadia. That's the point, right?
Yep.
So I think for some people, and I know a few, Crackdown was supposed to be that game, man. It had us hype, man. Building destruction. They said, man, if you shoot the base of the building, it's going to fall down into the other building. It's going to collapse that building, and it's going to be crazy. They showed us a demonstration. Hey, y'all, it was going down out there when Crackdown, when that trailer, when them, you know what I'm saying? Like, we saw it. Some of us saw it. And I got hyped, and I said, wow, this is what the cloud is about. This right here, only possible in the cloud. Then Stadia launched, of course, and they were like, you know, we got tools and we got machine learning and stuff like that and all this thing, you know, cloud native 1,000-player battle royale games. We do have to talk about that. Like, you see how easy I could throw that in there? So, while we won't be seeing those coming from Stadia, and yes, I'm happy. Yes, I'm happy. Listen, y'all, listen what the hell I'm talking about. I'm so glad that they don't have to worry about that nightmare pouring billions into. Now, when you selling the box, I keep saying MM2K, man. I be listening to my brother. I don't know if y'all do, but I damn sure pay attention to my bro. When he's on here talking, I don't pay attention to a whole lot of people, man. When MM2K is up and he's telling y'all, Stadia don't have to worry about selling that box. See, that flies over somebody's head, especially the hater, man. Yeah. Especially the hater. See, they didn't even hear what he just said in that situation. Stadia don't have to worry about boxes. Guess what that means, y'all? You don't have to worry about pissing your fan base off that you haven't established over 20 years. You don't have to worry about them holding you back when you know your real vision is the cloud. Yep. And that's why you want to deliver. And they know that they could deliver 1 billion players to Halo Infinite and deliver Halo Infinite to 1 billion players if it was in the cloud. If somehow this was in the cloud. So yes, we're afraid of Google and their next move because Google doesn't have to worry about pissing off millions of console gamers. Y'all got to stay with me today, man. It's about the storm out here. You see how I start getting pissed off, and every time I do, it's really about the storm over my house, man. Y'all got to pay attention. Stop playing with me out here. You know what I'm saying? Don't piss me off, man. Here's the deal. Stadia is in such a good spot that it's the most hated video game company to ever launch a product.
Yeah,
now and see, hold on. They're in such a good spot, MM2K, man, that they're the most hated right now of all times. You tell me something. You tell me another video game company that was hated as much as Stadia for the wrong reasons, by the way, and maybe to some gamers for the right reasons, like internet speeds and all that, and having to upgrade. But MM, man, do you get where I'm coming from, bro?
Absolutely. Like, I'm gonna let you finish, but no, I've never seen a company so hated because they're trying to do what technological devices and products should do, which is enhance your experience. I've never seen it before, but go ahead. I digress. Go ahead, brother.
And see, so here we are, man. Here we are up here again. We're telling people every week. Some of y'all appreciate it. You hit that like button. Can we get like 5 more likes though, man? That'll go a long way in helping the video get out there to the people that really needs to hear this and learn about the cloud. Because see, it's kind of like, you know, telling somebody, go over there and pick up that book and read. I want you to read 10 chapters.
Mm-hmm.
And you know damn well we're gonna read like 3 chapters and skim through the rest. You know what I'm saying? Get to the point of the whole thing, and then we're gonna tell the teacher, "Hey, look, yeah, I know what it's about." But so what we're saying is, y'all, you don't have to do the reading. Me and MM2K got you. We're gonna break it down in a way, you know, that's based on facts and all that stuff, all this information that we are here scouring the planet for, the interwebs and all that. We got your back. But y'all, it's major when it comes to this cloud gaming stuff, man. Immediately, some people didn't want it to exist. Some people like that's big in tech. I remember Linus Tech Tips and others breaking down videos of saying that it just doesn't work, it's rubbery and all that. I remember watching these videos, y'all. So I really can talk on them.
Mm-hmm.
Some people did not give it a fair shot. Some people didn't look at Project Storm's 4K video, 3 hours long, no lag, no latency, no hiccups. Of course, I got a couple in there where my PC failed before Stadia did, but I like that. I like when that happens because it's showing you that Stadia is more reliable than our hardware that we have in our home to play it on. Damn, y'all got to stay with me, man. Stay with me here. So, Linus Tech Tips and others, they did their videos. They broke down, man. Like they showed some gameplay, and you know that they didn't know completely what the hell they were talking about because they didn't do all the testing and all that stuff, man. It was kind of like, okay, this is not going to work because we need to do. To me, I took that as we do PC gaming, man. We don't care about this, and that's fine. Listen to what I'm saying. That's fine. But come on now. Imagine if we say that about PC, y'all. Yep. Hey, this PC gaming, man, it sure is stupid. Flight Sim don't even work on it half the time. You got to download your games in 2021. It crashes. You got the hackers on every multiplayer game. It's stupid. Imagine how that would sound if more people started doing that the way that they were hating on Stadia. But man, look, let's go another direction. I think people got the point, MM2K. Yeah. I think people got the point. Let's go, man.
See, and I was trying to find the article where Yoshida explains, the former head of PlayStation Games, he explained that even when it comes to exclusives, because they're just tagged to their box right now, well, you know, and they're expanding the PC or whatever, but because of how much it takes to build these AAA exclusives, and the risk that you run into, that per their data, they only expect 3 out of 10. No, they expect 3 out of 10 to sell well. So out of every 10 exclusives that Sony builds and funds, 7 of them are going to fail financially.
Yeah.
3 of them are going to do well, and 2 out of the 3 are going to, you know, extremely, you know, do well. You know what I'm saying? But that's after PlayStation having decades and decades of lineage under their belt, where, remember, the first 2 consoles, they really didn't create a whole heck of a lot of first-party exclusive content because they had second-party exclusive deals out of the wazoos. Final Fantasy, Grand Theft Auto. See, there was a time, a lot of y'all that are listening now, y'all don't remember these days, but me and Storm do. If you wanted to play Final Fantasy, if you wanted to play Grand Theft Auto, if you wanted to play, I don't know if it was Madden, but certain sports games, maybe even Madden or whatever, certain games, if you wanted to play those games, the big games that were coming out, 8 times out of 10, you had to get a PlayStation in order to play them. They weren't available on Xbox.
Right.
Xbox started bringing more of the Western developed games that were known to PC, and they were getting them ported to Xbox. That's what they relied upon. But they weren't getting those big, you know what I'm saying? So exclusives take time to flourish, and they're very, very risky. But people go through that risk, a 70% failure possibility. They go through that risk because they got to sell you that box. They got to find some way for you to get that box in your home because it's a very steep investment up front. When it comes to cloud gaming, you don't have that steep investment up front. Just go to Stadia.com.
That's all.
That's it. So everything that my brother was speaking was pure facts. We got to understand that this is different. This is the building phase. What you have with Amazon, and particularly with Google and Amazon particularly, is what they're trying to do is subsidize their efforts to one day not only do well with the general gamer, but their safety net is their streaming platforms. One day you're going to be able to see PewDiePie playing on YouTube or Ninja playing on Twitch, and one of them is going to say, play me in Call of Duty right now. I'm going to drop the link, hop in right now. And the only way you're going to do that on Twitch is via Amazon Luna. And the only way you're going to do that on YouTube is through Google Stadia. You understand? Even in our after party, we're going to talk about the story. I'm going to shut up. We're going to talk about this in the after party because y'all thought Google was just going to play nice, and then everybody spit in their face, and they was just going to take it and be like, oh, well, you know, Xbox is dogging us. Phil is telling, he's sicking the goons on us. They doing this. No, Google is fighting back. Apple, it ain't just Apple and Amazon fighting. Now Google is fighting back. So you really, if you want to do
don't give them too much.
I ain't gonna give them too much. But you know what I'm saying? You better join me I'm going to shut up to my brother's advice. You better join me and Storm for this after party because there's some stuff going on that changes all this and puts it all on its head. And if you're going to miss it and you're going to not understand why decisions are being made, pay close attention to the facts and the things that are happening around you. So join us for that after party. But I shut up and it's time to move on, Storm.
Let's do it.
Next subject matter at hand. Let's talk about it, baby. Let's talk about it. What a little game called Rainbow Six Siege. Rainbow Six Siege is tearing it up on the state in these Stadia streets. Let me show you something. That was the nice version of me doing that. Storm, so here's what's going on, brother. Stadia releases Rainbow Six Siege for the platform, even though the platform is dead, right? It's dead. Nobody develops for it. The games, remember, let me go through all the bullet points.
Yeah, because this is gonna be the last week we could say it's dead, man.
Yeah.
This last week because I just had this feeling that I could just sense more people playing Stadia each and every day, man.
Yeah.
Since the 80 million plus dropped in people's home, man. Chromecast with Google TV and other devices, TVs, and all that stuff. I could just feel that thousands more people are playing Stadia at a high clip, man. Yeah. Each week. I'll say each week. I'm not going to say every day, even though that might be the case too. But I just had this weird feeling. We'll see if it comes to light later, y'all, or if I'm just going crazy.
No, Storm, interesting enough, I was doing some research and I was baffled at this. I would have thought that because Amazon had Fire TVs out there for a long time. But do you know that there are 50 million Fire TV devices or capable devices out there? But there's 80 million Android TV or Google TV, Google TV or Android TV capable. So Google has a 30 million. If the numbers, again, I'm going to put this disclaimer out here.
Man,
you know how the crinkle cut.
I hope it's not accurate. I hope that's not accurate, man. Damn.
That if that's accurate, man, oh man, oh man. And the more and more people by the moment, Storm, are adopting Google TVs and ditching their Amazon TVs. And I can tell you, because Amazon is struggling in that forefront, because every other, like when I first got my Fire TV, you see an update, like a noticeable update, like once a year. Now I'm seeing them like every month. They done changed that UI and flipped it and try to make it so much more like Google TV. It's crazy, bruh. So, okay, so to your point, there's a lot of saturation, potential saturation that's there. But on top of that, Storm, you can see this tweet. I'm going to show it to the people in the back. Very well-known influencer goes by the name of Noob on Twitter, 50,000 followers. He's a Rainbow Six Siege influencer. He dropped a tweet out there. And he said, every PC Siege player, where Siege is huge on PC, every PC Siege player needs to switch to Stadia and disable Crossplay. He didn't say,
oh no.
Switch to Stadia. He said, switch to Stadia and disable crossplay. Once that is done, we have successfully eradicated cheaters completely.
Oh man, can we make this a segment?
Oh my! Yeah, oh yeah, this is a segment. This is, bruh. 1,000 likes, 1,093 likes by the time that we're reading this, and he even drops the link. This brother, he done probably got a billion referrals, he drops the link to his own. Join me on Stadia. Get 2 free months of Stadia Pro link, and he got 123. Man,
how does this guy have? Go up.
How many? What?
Yeah, about how many followers does this guy?
Oh, he got 50,000 followers.
50,000.
50,000 followers. Storm.
And he put this out there on Twitter?
He put it out there, and he started a chain of other content and creators and influencers for Rainbow Six Siege. They started doing it too. I couldn't find the other ones before we went live, but he started something. Bruh.
Now, of course I knew about this, y'all. Of course I'm acting like I didn't. You know what I'm saying? But listen, this is just another example of people starting to see the light. That's what I'm talking about. I just have a feeling. Well, me and Bibbidi Bop, man, where's Bibbidi Bop at? There he is.
Bibbidi in the chat.
Bibbidi in the chat, man. Bibbidi knows what I'm talking about. See, me and Bibbidi got this instinct. You know what I mean? We're wrong sometimes, but boy, when we're right, we're right. Now, Bibbidi, we can tell because we're the performance gurus now. We know when Stadia is testing. We know when new players are signing up because there's a little bit of these weird little inconsistencies that don't normally happen, and they happen on big release days like Cyberpunk and Rainbow Six and all that. So we kind of put one and one together. We're just doing our own little formulated opinions and stuff, right? Yep. Calculations. But man, what if that's really coming to light right now, MM2K? Now with 80+ million devices, and then they recently hired for a new position, didn't they? Yes. Aren't they hiring for a new position that's gonna further that implies that they're gonna be adding Stadia to more devices, man?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, hey, bro. I asked you last time. I gotta ask you again today to see if your mind changed.
Yeah.
Do you bet against Stadia, man?
You know what?
Do you bet against Google Stadia? Would you do that?
Nervous.
Right now?
I mean, look. I was told that SG&E meant the end of Stadia. I was told that the games this year are worse. I was told all this stuff, and you know what? I got tired of fighting Storm, so I almost gave in. I almost bit into the apple. But but then while I was about to indulge in the apple, a Rainbow Six Siege operator swooped down from a helicopter and grabbed my ass up.
For me, it was Bandit, man. Bandit put the barbed wire down. You know what I'm saying? You step on that joint if you want to, bro. We got the electrical box that he puts on the barbed wire, and then he shocks the hell out of you if you step on it. That's who got my attention, man. So I don't know who it was that swooped you up, but Bandit, it was Bandit for me.
It was Bandit that got you. I don't even know. I was like, I had to shook me out of it. I was like, whoa, Storm. I'm just, hey, look, Storm, the reason why we're jovial and we're laughing about this is because we've been telling them. Storm, what are your thoughts? Why weren't they listening? Why weren't they listening?
when you just look, man, here's the thing. You can say we're cocky, we're arrogant, man. You just don't know us if you're saying that, though. You know, I hope you don't think that much about us, man.
Absolutely
we have fun. When we're right, hey, there's nothing that feels better than when you're right. We told people it was going to be a big Stadia summer. We didn't get on the phone with Phil Harrison or nothing like that. Phil didn't hit us up. Last time I checked, my inbox is naked. No message from Phil. No message from Jack. None of them, right? Yep. We just put our finger on the pulse, MM. We read these articles. We break them down. We engage behind the scenes in heavy dialogue. You know what I'm saying? The what ifs and look, check this out. You know, and all that, right? That's what we do. I tell you, man. I tell y'all that before you know it, Stadia is going to be in so many places that it won't have a chance but to succeed.
Yeah.
Now, I know some things I say might sound crazy to some, but I got my brothers and sisters out here in the chat. They know where we're coming from because they believe like we do.
Yep.
It's going to get to a point where it's going to be hard for Stadia to fail. Like, I just don't want them to I don't want Stadia to get so damn big that I just feel like, yo, man, damn, bro, I got to root for the underdog. You know you had to root for the underdog.
Yeah,
sometimes,
I've been there before, Storm. I've been there.
I don't want to do that, man. So I just want all of them to be super competitive. Please, make it a race to the throne. Yeah. And because the consumers are going to win in the end if that happens, man. I just want that to continue to be the case, man. Stadia, slow down.
Yes,
Slow
sir.
down, y'all. You're doing too much. Y'all doing too damn much, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yep. Nah, that's great. Shout out to Jim in the chat. He says, "What's up,
Hold on.
gamers?"
Speaking
Yep.
speaking of the chat, man.
Yes, sir.
Let me get at some of the chat real quick
Yes,
before we
sir.
move on, because I got a serious question, man. Because
Absolutely.
I'm like, how much of this do you think Stadia was gonna sit there and take, man? They getting pies and tomatoes thrown
Yeah.
at them like Ozzy the Bear and all them from the Muppets
Yep.
and all that, man. Hold on. And how much and I want you to I really want to talk about that. But
Yes,
before we
sir.
do that, man, Proto P has been around
Oh,
since we
shout out to
started.
Proto P. Yes.
Junior Thanos in the house, man. Sean
Junior.
L, Jim
Yes.
doing big things as always. Bibby
Absolutely.
Bop
As
is in the
always.
building, man. The Nightbot, man, is in the house.
Nightbot.
Here it is. Dominicano 791. Jay had me cracking up
Woo!
on Twitter, bro. I can't tell y'all what it was about, but Dominicano, he's scratching his head right now. Like, what is Storm talking about? Bro, you know what I'm talking about, man. On Twitter, boy. You say you commented on something that was said. I was dying laughing. I'm telling you, I couldn't even breathe, bro. So hit me up in the DM. I'll tell you what it was. Christopher Torres is in the place. So don't you feel like we know these cats for real now? All of a sudden, MM2, like we know them in real life, man. Like Torres, remember we went down to the Lakers game, man. No damn well we ain't going to no Lakers game, but that's how it feels.
Yeah.
You know, the Knicks games or whatever, Knicks, Lakers. So we got Chris White in the house, man. Said Madden was one of them. And I guess we were talking about particular games. I know you had a lot to say about that, Madden. It's good that you're on it because 22 is about to drop on Stadia day and date.
Yep.
Man, and then we're gonna go G Millie, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call out a couple more people, and then we'll call out some more later on down the show.
Okay.
Y'all, as y'all can see, we didn't do the housekeeping that we normally do. None of that in the beginning of the show. We're mixing it up for y'all. So much. So all right, so we're gonna continue, man. Stadia Pro Gaming in the house, man, and then we'll get the rest of y'all at another time.
Absolutely. So I mean, there it is, people. Rainbow Six Siege is really tearing it up for people. I've seen Jim was doing a special stream on it. I believe was it last week or it may have been Saturday. And my final question for you, Storm, before we roll over is to something that's kind of conjoined to that is, does this make Ubisoft Plus and the Stadia's partnership even more important? Because a lot of people now, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when I go into Stadia, I think I have access to the ultimate version because I have Ubisoft Plus. A lot of you all were upset when that ultimate version was only on sale for like a hot minute and y'all had to go for the deluxe version. But the thing with Ubisoft Plus is they give you the top tier versions of their games in most cases. And I think in the situation with Stadia, you do that. Let me check that real quick, Storm. So if that is the case, that not only even beyond the version, but the fact that I didn't have to pay a dime extra to get Rainbow Six Siege. What does that say about Ubisoft Plus and its value to you, Storm?
Hit me with that one more time. I'm texting somebody, man.
That's all right. Now I was asking Rainbow Six Siege, and I believe it's the ultimate version. I'm trying to validate that now, but Rainbow Six Siege is now part of Ubisoft Plus on Stadia.
Oh wow!
Like, how big is that? And particularly if it's the ultimate version, how big is Ubisoft Plus becoming? Because now we see this port play fantastic, and we got not Contagion, but Rainbow Six Extraction. We got other Ubisoft games coming. How much of a value does Rainbow Six Siege help to show that Ubisoft Plus is?
I'm gonna try to break it down as best I can, man. Because again, here we're gonna go back to what Stadia said they were gonna do, y'all. They said they were going to allow a Ubisoft Plus to be possible on Stadia. The EA Play to be possible on Stadia. So what it did for me, I didn't understand the value of it until Rainbow Six. I had Watchdog Legions and Assassin's Creed Valhalla and all that I could play, man. But until Rainbow Six, it became very apparent that this right here is beyond huge. Now, that tweet that you have on the screen, if it's still there, right? That tweet.
Yep, I got it. It's still here.
That tweet right there says everything that we need to say, man, because you talk about the millions of players that play Rainbow Six Siege. You talk about Ubisoft Plus, where you can sign up for a subscription. And let me say this, y'all. Let me calm down because I don't want to get too hyped when I say it. This is on everything I love, man. I have Ubisoft Plus. That means I have it on PC. I have it on Stadia. I have it for Luna, right? Not Series X yet. Not yet. But I had to go in and I had to install Immortals Phoenix Rising, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, because I was really playing Origins first. I wanted to try to, I didn't have Valhalla and Odyssey installed because I wanted to knock Origins out because I keep delaying Origins and dabbling with Valhalla. So I said the only way I can stop playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, man, is to uninstall it. So I'm trying to install all these games on PC, right? I had to get my 3 terabyte hard drive. I just snatched that off the Series X. Like, man, I'm not even playing games on the Series X like that. Instead of buying a new hard drive, let me take this 3 terabytes, throw it on my PC, and make space for the PC games that I want to install. You know what I mean? And make some videos at 8K. So, do you know how long that took and what it made me think about, man? When I'm over here and I'm like, yo, while this is downloading, let me boot up the game on Stadia real quick to see if there's an update. I have to use Stadia to see what the update might be.
Ain't that crazy? That's crazy.
So Ubisoft Plus being on Stadia, man, available, and Rainbow being on being added to Ubisoft Plus for Stadia is monumental, man, as usual, because it just allows for that many people to sign up for a subscription, play the hell out of that game, cancel the subscription if they choose to, or keep it because games like Riders Republic and others are coming up, Far Cry 6 and all of that. I didn't have to download the game day one, bro. Do you understand what I'm saying right now? I didn't have to download it, man. Listen, I didn't have to worry about it. I didn't have to pre-order it,
Yep.
Hey, chat, imagine when I realized, right? Because sometimes you forget. Yeah. I know y'all know what I'm talking about if you got that subscription, man. You forget that you don't have to pre-order the game no more.
Yeah,
and you get the Ultimate Edition. You get access to the Ultimate Editions of these games. I said, man, now I know there was a little bit of dialogue about what operators didn't come and all that. I didn't really read too heavily into it, man. I was happy to get what I had, which is more characters than when I first started playing the game years ago. Amazing game, amazing experience, man. Now you're seeing people who know that Rainbow Six Siege is available on Stadia. It's one of those games that's free to play on PC, from what I'm understanding, or whatever. You could jump in free to play or something. But it's big. I'm gonna leave it at that, man, because I can go on and on and on MM2K, but it's really big. Because what it's saying to most gamers out there who still hasn't picked up Stadia yet is that, yo, you could try one of the most competitive played games right now on Google Stadia. Yes, the same Stadia that I just heard was trashed 2 weeks ago. Yeah, you could no downloads, no installs, nothing. All you need to do is just cop the game at a sales price or sign up for Ubisoft Plus if you're a PC gamer already and just try the game on Stadia while you download the game on PC to updates or whatever, man. It's crazy. So that's how I feel about it.
So let me pull something up real quick, and I do want to show people because I don't want to lead y'all astray. Let me see here. Let me see if this will work. GFN. Okay, Stadia. I didn't do it. Hold on 1 second. We're gonna take care of that then. We're gonna take care of that. Give me one moment. I want to show y'all that again, what is all entailed in the Ubisoft Plus version that you're gonna get. There we go. Boom. And if y'all can see, if y'all looking on the screen right now, Rainbow Six Siege Ultimate Edition is part of Ubisoft Plus. So just so you know the value of this subscription service. These are all the games that I have there for Ubisoft Plus right now. And then on top of that, not only do I get the cloud access, but if you want to play it natively on PC, or you can go to different, if you want to play it natively on PC or go try it on different platforms where it's available, where this PC main hub version is available, then definitely go there and try it, man. It's a really, really fantastic subscription service to have. And even though there may not be as many titles on the Stadia version as there are the PC version, it has the latest and greatest Stadia games on there. And having Rainbow Six Siege Ultimate Edition on there, man, oh man,
man. You know what's going to be a good test for me to do, y'all? to keep, just because I think it's going to be interesting. Now, Jim might be able to help if Jim's still here, because Jim recently did a stream where he turned off crossplay and all that, right?
Okay.
And it was members of the community that he played with, some friends and all that. But what I want to try to do is I want to see just how many matches I can get in for consecutive days without crossplay. That will let me know that people have definitely signed up to play Rainbow Six Siege on Stadia. Now, why would they want to do that, chat? MM2K? Well, we've already hinted at it earlier, right? The cheaters, man. These things called cheaters and hackers, right? Yep. So we've all, whether you know it or not, we've all run into a cheater if you play multiplayer games. We've run into a cheater already, y'all. And I could tell you right now, unless you're lucky, that person that headshots you from like 500 meters away and all that, and you wonder how it happened, it might have been a cheater. You don't know, right? So here's the deal. But what we do know is that cheaters are real, and they're running rampant on PC, man. I have a PC. I built one, RTX 3080. Y'all know it. So, but what I could tell y'all is this. When you're playing on Stadia, you don't have to worry about that. That's huge, MM2K. The cheaters are going crazy. I read yesterday an article that said there's this undetectable aimbot, man, and I don't want to even promote it or anything. But it's an undetectable aimbot that people are using that can't even be detected on consoles and PC. Now, Storm, you got to worry about that if you're doing crossplay and you want the numbers. Well, just what if there's so many people playing Rainbow Six on Stadia right now that we don't have to worry about crossplay, man? I got to do that test. I have to do it. If y'all can't do it, somebody else do it. Help me out, man. Somebody else in the chat can do it.
Here's the thing that I am gonna say, I am gonna wag my finger at the Stadia community. I'm gonna wag my finger at the Stadia community, and let me show you why. Everything that my brother just said, I see a lot of y'all out there, in the chat or everywhere that have echoed the same sentiments. However, this tweet that I'm showing you right now from the Godly Noob, y'all liked it. It's got 1,000 likes on it, 1,100 likes almost. But y'all ain't quote tweet this. Why is that a problem? Because of what Storm just said. Just off the power of this guy, we have an opportunity to where we can increase the Stadia player base in a significant way. I would be quote tweeting this out, but I've already done it. I would be quote tweeting this out, y'all. And I would be saying something to the effects of major Rainbow Six influencer gives kudos to Stadia. Wow. Hop on and see what he's talking about. The fact that there's only 15 quote tweets on this, but 1,000 likes? Come on, y'all. We got to do better than this. Again, we know how to look. It's in its infancy stage, and Stadia is cool at it, in minimum levels, making its increasements. They want to see the best numbers they can get, but they ain't going nowhere. They're building towards, again, that apex, which is the whole collaborative effort with its streaming platforms. But right now they're building. It's us, the gamers, that are like, right now, which is fine. But if you're right now, you better be right now, quote tweeting this and saying major influencer or something to that regards. Come on, y'all. Let's do this. If we serious about this, let's do this again. This is something serious that a lot of people may take advantage of that they're just not aware of. And let's do our part to make sure that happens. All right. With that said, Storm.
What's up?
Let's go on to one of our final topics. I think what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to close out in like the next 10 minutes because there's that state of play. And I don't want people to miss it. I'm going to miss it because I got to do something with the wife and I'll deal with it later. But hopefully we can do the after party at 10-2 and wrap up in 10 minutes. So let me do this real quick. Let's just rapid fire this real quick. So the Stadia haters, just real quick, Storm, in relation to this, we've seen a lot of people come out and say, hold on, I'm noticing Stadia getting attention. Why is it getting attention? Or we started, and I'm not going to name the content creators because they're just full of BS and, they're trying to get clicks. But You had a couple of content creators that came out storm and said, "Oh, Stadia is dead," and here's the reminder that it's dead. One content creator in particular, they got to drop a Stadia is dead video every 3 months. It's like they're twinkling their eyes and crossing their fingers and clicking their heels, like Nancy trying to get or Dorothy trying to get back to Kansas, right? What are your thoughts on this, Storm? Why do you think that the Stadia haters are coming out in such full force recently to try to downplay the platform?
Because remember, at one point after Cyberpunk, you couldn't find them.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
We
remember this period where I was concerned for them, man. I was like, where the hell are the haters at? We need you. remember, we were calling for them. Please come out. Please write an article. Please, at the journalists, everybody took a hiatus, man.
Yep.
And then recently, you started hearing people like Google have Stadia on multiple devices, Chrome Unboxed. They put that out there on Twitter and everything, and people see this stuff, right? Mm-hmm. They get eyes on it. MM2K, they read it. Believe me, they read this stuff. They hear about it, man. Some of them have tried Stadia, and we'll never even know it because they'll never tell. You know, there's people out there that's doing stuff like this, I'm sure, man. So the reason why we're seeing this is because of the momentum that Stadia is gaining. See, they thought it was dead. See, they took the hiatus probably because they realized they got lied to, blatantly lied to by some of the most well-trusted, they thought, big people that they could ever connect with, right? Flat out lied to them.
Yeah.
You know, so they couldn't say much. So now Stadia's out here making moves again. You know, we just got an example of the the guy that just said that just shouted out Stadia and Rainbow Six Siege and all that stuff, man. Now people are starting to pick up that momentum again. Again, these devices are in their homes and other millions of people's homes across everywhere that Stadia is available, and Chromecast, Google TV, and other devices, right? So yeah, you're gonna start seeing more of this MM2K because see, they thought it was dead. You know, it's kind of like, you know, on a movie. I'll just give a reference to a movie, man, that I watched, man. It's kind of like Boys in the Hood or something like that, man. You know, you do a drive-by or whatever. You got to make sure you got him, something like that, right? So they thought Stadia was dead. They realized, it still has a pulse. Not only does it have a pulse, it's breathing and walking around with a squad now. So, man, their only recourse is to try to come back at Stadia whatever way possible. But they'll run out of fuel, man. They'll join forces. If you can't beat them, join them. You know, is what Yosemite Sam or somebody said.
You're right. If you can't beat them, join them.
Let's be for real, man. Eventually, it'll come to that.
Yep, absolutely. So, with that said, final segment before we move on to the after party. I meant to talk about this at the beginning, but again, we got so much. We would just wanted to get things jump started. The community blog was out, Storm, and here it goes. What's going on in the community blog? I want to get your thoughts on it. Let me see. Let me change this again. All right. So it says, this week on Stadia, a double free play weekend with Stadia Pro. All right. And here's what we got going on here. We got Dead by Daylight and Crew 2 are free play day games. Let me see. It says play 2 free games all weekend with Stadia Pro. Try Dead by Daylight and the Crew 2 from Thursday, July 8th. 8 a.m. PT until Monday, July 12th at 8 a.m. PT. That's 4 days of double game goodness. Storm, what are your thoughts on this? You think these are 2 good games for the platform to have as free to play day games?
I tell you what, one is massive. So much so, man, that Dead by Daylight, both of them really, man. That's another Ubisoft game you're looking at in the Crew 2. Yeah. 2 major games, in my opinion. Both were well received. Now, I know some people might argue that Crew 2 could have done better. It wasn't Forza and all that stuff. And that's another discussion for a different day. That game is popular. A lot of people I know enjoy it. You know what I mean? Especially on Stadia. So I think that's good for them to be able to jump. Like, I like the fact that they promoted these games the way they did. Dead by Daylight, popular title. It's right there front and center. You know what I mean? Crew 2, popular racer. Right there front and center. Now we could safely assume that other games are going to hold that place in the months to come or whatever, man. But it's good to see noticeable titles, MM2K in chat, y'all, that people might not have touched yet. You know, like I like that advertising. I like the reminders, man. So they can't go wrong with that at all.
Yep. No, I totally agree.
Talking about popular titles right there.
Now, here's something else that's interesting that I want to talk about. and that is let me see if I can find it. They ain't put it in here. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night.
Yes,
I don't
sir.
know if you were aware, Storm, but Bloodstained Ritual of the Night was one that a lot of people in the community were highly anticipating to come to the platform. And when it came, it dropped at a full $60 retail.
Yeah, I
Now,
was aware.
we talked about this in prior shows, Storm, that yeah, you may have a game that right now on another platform is $13 and it's on and on Stadia it's like full price because it's a
Yeah.
port, and so then
Yep.
it's only reduced on the other platforms because it's been there for a year. You know what I mean? And a publisher is not going to launch a game that they feel like has a lot of value to it. They're going to heavily discount it like they would the same version of the game but on a different platform because that diminishes the value of their product, they feel. That being said, this game launched on Stadia at a higher price, and I think it even launched anywhere else.
Yeah.
I think it launched at 40 everywhere else, and then it launched at Stadia at 60. But then the price was dropped back to 40 before this came out. Storm, what do you think happened? And do you think that the people in the Stadia community were behind the price change?
It could have been an honest mistake at first. We've seen it happen. We've seen Stadia themselves say Rainbow Six is available now, but it wasn't available, right? Things happen. People are human. Like, this is not magic that's happened. Well, it is. It is. When you're playing Stadia, that's magic right there. But you know, the people are human, y'all. So the mistakes happen. I'm assuming that's what it was because it was fixed so swiftly.
Yeah.
So swiftly with little communication from Stadia or the publisher or whatever, or the dev team or anybody, right? I didn't see any of that unless you have it. I don't know if that ever took place. So for that to happen, it says that it could have been an honest mistake, man. And those will happen again. This will not be the last time we see this. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
But the fact that they fixed it, MM2K, and it's one of the most popular games I know on Steam. I was browsing it on Steam, and I know that the reviews were very, like, overwhelmingly positive for this game, man. I tried it on, I think, Xbox, if I'm not mistaken. I think I might have tried this one on Xbox. Definitely one of those games, man, that reminds me of Castlevania and all that stuff from back in the day, man. So it's just, I can't wait. I might give it a spin. But then again, it might be a pro title or something one day, man. You never know. So I gotta see, man. But it's definitely one of those games that's very popular. It's great for the platform. And I think a lot of people are gonna enjoy it.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
Especially at 40 beans.
Yeah. I agree, and it's one of those where I want to play it, I want to get into it. But I haven't even touched Siege. Like, I got so many games, Storm. Like, I haven't even finished Cyberpunk. So many games that now that my schedule's back in order, I want to play those. And I'm going to wait and I'm going to see if this thing goes on sale maybe in a month. You know, it's the summertime. Or if it becomes a Stadia program. I might buy it before then, but I don't know. So we'll have to see. But
said it's a little high. It is a little high at 40, but like I said, you know them pro sales. The pro sales comes from out of nowhere, man.
Absolutely.
Like, that's why we pay our $9.99 a month, y'all. Like, that's why we do it, to take advantage of those pro sales. Of course, they want to get a couple extra dimes. You know, like the porting process and all that stuff takes time. If I'm a developer, I want to come over here at $40 though. I don't want to come down at $9.99, you know what I'm saying? Something like that. I really want to see how many people are going to want to buy the game, who thinks that is that valuable to spend that 40 first. And then I would be willing to work with Google Stadia and say, hey, let's go ahead and drop it for the people so that it could get in more hands. You know, that's just my thinking.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
With that said, I think that's it for the show. Ease 9 dropped as well. That looks like, I mean, people are praising that. Great stuff. And I still got to finish. You see, I got to finish 8. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of great games on the platform. I think a good week in addition going into this Stadia hot summer. With that said, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Thank you so much. We're going to go do this after party real quick. I didn't get a chance to pay the bills, but go to pntsnetwork.com to check out all our great content. We got shows Sunday, Yang Meets Yang of Gaming, and the Revolutionary Storm. Sign up to my bros' channels and to our sister's channels for that. We got this show on Wednesdays, but we did it on Thursday this week. We're going to try to bring back next week the Commission podcast, and then we got SML podcast on Saturdays. Just make sure you subscribe to this platform, Storm's platform, the Brother Stadia Revs platform, and the homegirl Snow Bunny Gaming.
Snow Bunny.
Storm, where can people find you at? Let us know real quick before we get out the hell out of here.
Shortly, you can find me promoting that summer community championship happening with Desolate being hosted and all these partners and everybody. We got out here bringing this event to you all. It's a lot of hard work going behind the scenes. Stay tuned. If you don't know about that, you might want to check it out. I should have a link. Damn.
I got a link I got one right here.
So MM2K will drop that, but y'all get ready for it. It's going to kick off this weekend, man. So stay tuned for the Summer Community Championship. That's a way to get you a free grand prize, y'all, of up to over $1,000. I know that much. Yep. I know that much, y'all, but it's much more complex than that. Check it out, though. Check out the details.
To win up to $1,400, y'all. Y'all can win up to $1,400. Here goes the link right here. All right. To the Twitter account, and you can go sign up, and all the other stuff is right there. With that said, you know me, MM2K. You can find me here, Stadia Dosage platform. Also, MM2K videos. We're going to ramp that back up, and Stadia Dosage streams. I always forget to mention that. Go to Stadia Dosage streams where you can find some good, decent looking video. May not be my brother Storm's quality, but it's good enough. It's good enough for the eyeball.
Man, I'm waiting on YouTube, man. YouTube, turn up. Let's get this 8K 120 popping and all that, and then let's go.
Let's do it. All right, with that said, we got a hell of a conversation happening in the after party. If you're not a member, become a member now. You have to be at least a prescription or higher member. That's the middle tier or higher. We're going to be talking about Google now pulling the wool over Microsoft and other publisher or other platforms' eyes. They're not making it so easy for game subscription services to be on the Android devices like how they did in the past. Very interesting Windows Central article. We're going to talk about it. Join us now. We're going to do it right before this state of play. With that said, thank you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful gaming day. Peace.
Get some games in, y'all. Peace.